Good evening, everybody. So today we'll be solving June 2025 questions. I'll be sharing my screen with you all. Now the questions of June paper 3 we are solving. Paper 1 and 2 Dr. Shazia will be doing. 3 and 4 I am doing. So paper 3 June 2025. So the first question was diagnostic criteria of OSA. Okay. So what would be the answer? So it's a very repeated question. Actually, the first 3 questions were like that. Only diagnostic criteria of OSA, risk factor of OSA, management of OSA, and the 4th question was OHS. So all related to sleep. So first we'll talk about diagnostic criteria, how you have to write the answer. Diagnostic criteria of OSA. So you will say, when we say just OSA, it's better if you have time and page, then you should mention both pediatric and adult onset OSA. So adult OSA is diagnosed when both A plus B or C alone are met. And then you describe what is A, B and C. A is symptoms or associated conditions. At least more than one is required. What are the symptoms? Excessive daytime sleepiness. That is excessive daytime sleepiness, which is not explained by other factors. Then more than one of the following. That is habitual loud snoring, habitual loud snoring. Okay. Witnessed apneas or gasping or choking. Non-restorative sleep or fatigue, insomnia. Okay. Third is presence of comorbidities like hypertension, type 2 diabetes mellitus, coronary artery disease, stroke, heart failure, atrial fibrillation, or mood disorder or cognitive impairment. Okay, so A include the symptoms or associated condition. Any more than one or one is required for A to be positive. Either excessive daytime sleepiness or habitual loud snoring or witnessed apnea, gasping, non-restorative sleep, fatigue, insomnia, or presence of any of the comorbidities, whether it is metabolic comorbidities or heart failure, atrial fibrillation, or mood disorders. And what is the B component? So A plus B defines the diagnosis, isn't it? So A is this, B is the sleep study findings. Okay, that is whether we have the level 1 PSG or home sleep apnea test, that is HSAT, that is type 3 type 4 device. If either PSG or HSAT shows 5 or more than 5 predominantly obstructive respiratory events. Obstructive respiratory events. Okay, means what is predominantly obstructive risk? Means it could be obstructive apneas, it could be mixed apneas or hypopneas, or there could be even raras. So what is predominantly obstructive respiratory events? Means it has to be respiratory related, चाहे वो apneas हो, hypopneas हो या raras हो. कितना? More than 5 per hour of the sleep. So it means that AHI or REI, respiratory, should be 5 per hour. Okay. So presence of symptoms along with AHI being in the sleep study at least 5 or more than 5. So A plus B or C alone. What is C? C is if the patient is asymptomatic or minimally symptomatic, but AHI is how much? More than or equal to 15 per hour. So predominantly obstructive respiratory events are more than 15. So this is, there is, even if symptoms are not there, it is present. OSA is diagnosed. In which kind of patient you will find such? COPD patients. If COPD patients, they are usually lean and thin, and when they develop sleep apnea, they do not put on weight. So usually they do not end up snoring, and they can have AHI more than 15, but they will have no complaints. So they can be that. Okay. So this is this about diagnostic criteria. Similarly, then you will write in the answer, adult you talked about, then you say pediatric criteria. So pediatric criteria means children less than 18 years, especially less than 13 years. The criteria is different. What is the criteria? Anybody? Criteria is only one or more than one. AHI is one or more than one. Means obstructive event per hour will be, अगर एक से भी ज़्यादा है, then चाहे वो hypopnea हो, apnea हो, rara हो, anything, plus symptoms. Okay, symptoms क्या होंगे? या तो snoring है या witnessed apnea. बाकी symptoms patient बोल नहीं पाएगा. Okay, and severity अगर बात करें, then we talk about severity. In diagnostic criteria अगर पूछा OSA का, आप adult बताओगे, 5 marks question just adult बता के नहीं रुकना है. 5 marks question adult बताओगे, pediatric बताओगे, साथ में severity फिर adult और pediatric का बताओगे. और adult का severity क्या होगा? Tell me. AHI, based on AHI. If it is mild, so it is based on AHI. AHI is between 5 to 15. Moderate, AHI is 15 to less than 30. And severe is AHI 30 or more than 30 per hour. Every event is per hour. And when we talk about sorry, pediatric, in pediatric group, what will be the severity? Tell me. Anything more than one, even one AHI is diagnostic. Okay. So अगर pediatric में severity की बात करते हैं तो 5 or more than 5 AHI per hour, we call it moderately severe. Moderately severe. ठीक है. So for 5 marks question, diagnostic criteria, adult you will talk about. Adult is A plus B or C, where A includes symptoms, B is the PSG study or even home sleep apnea test, HSAT, and C is even if the patient is asymptomatic but AHI is more than 15. Pediatric criteria you will talk about. When AHI is even 1, then it is classified as OSA. For severity, adult का 5 to 15, 15 से 30, 30 से ज़्यादा, that is, and pediatric classification of severity, 5 से ज़्यादा है, it is severe. Now the next question number 2, they asked risk factors for OSA. Okay. So this was again 5 marks question. What are the major risk factors? Anyone want to attempt? Okay. Obesity. BMI more than 30 or equal to, especially central obesity. And this is the strongest modifiable risk. Obesity is something, it can be modified. Increased neck circumference, in male 17 inches, more than 17 inches, or we say 43 centimeter. In females, more than 16 inches or 40 centimeter. Okay. Third risk factor is craniofacial and upper airway anatomy. अगर deformed है, for example, retrognathia, micrognathia, macroglossia, tonsillar hypertrophy, high Mallampati score, means या तो Mallampati 3 हो या Mallampati 4 अगर होता है, then that is increased risk. Okay. So that was the third point. What is the fourth? It is male gender. And age more than 50 years. In some studies, it says 40 years. Elderly. For woman, post-menopausal status, but not on any hormone replacement therapy. Postmenopausal status without HRT. Okay, so these are the major risk factors. Other risk factors include severe risk factors, you can say. Other risk factors, are like family history, some genetic conditions, genetic syndromes like Down's neck is there, Perry-Robin, again there is craniofacial abnormality, Perry-Robin syndrome, Down syndrome, Treacher-Collins syndrome. Okay. Then nasal obstruction. Nasal obstruction like allergic rhinitis, septal deviation, DNS, polyps. So in these cases, you need to have ENT consultation. That's why it is important. Hypothyroidism. Then acromegaly. Why acromegaly will be a risk factor? Because jawline change ho jayega. If the patient is a current smoker. Alcohol or sedative use. And especially sedative agar evening mein le raha hai patient to. Asian population at higher risk. Black and Hispanic population, these are at risk. These ethnicities are at risk. Are at risk means their risk is even higher at lower BMI. Like for Asian, even at a BMI more than 25, the risk is there. Some other mild risk factors, which are emerging risk factors, if you say, like PCOS, again it is leading to weight gain. Pregnancy, stroke or neuromuscular disease. Again, craniofacial abnormalities can be there. Opioid use, rather abuse. And emerging is low socioeconomic status. So this is all about the risk factors of which can lead to OSA. Now the third question was management of OSA. So we come to the third question. Management of OSA. Okay. So before that, we'll just risk factors एक बार देख लो. Risk factors see, basically it is obesity, anything which is leading to weight gain, anything which is leading to craniofacial abnormality is a risk factor. So obesity when BMI more than 30, especially central obesity, or there is increased neck circumference. For male it is 17 inches, for female it is 16 inches. Craniofacial or upper airway anatomy deformities there, like retrognathia, micrognathia when small, macroglossia, tongue is large, tonsillar hypertrophy. It's very common for especially in adenoid and tonsillar hypertrophy in children. Or high Mallampati score, Mallampati grade 3 and grade 4, when the patient is not able to, when you're not even able to visualize the soft palate. Okay, Mallampati grade you remember, I hope so. Male gender, they are at a greater risk. Age more than 40. In some textbook, it will be written 40 years, some 50 years. Postmenopausal woman without HRT. Somebody is on HRT, she is not at risk. Other risk factors would be like family history, genetic syndromes like Down syndrome. Again in Down syndrome because neck is thicker. Perry-Robbins, there is craniofacial abnormality. Treacher-Collins syndrome, again craniofacial abnormality. That is the reason. So you have to remember, कुछ भी हो जो craniofacial abnormality कर रहा है, upper airway anatomy या obstruction कर रहा है और weight gain करा रहा है, everything will be risk factor. So remember like that. Nasal obstruction like allergic rhinitis, DNS, that is septal deviation, polyps, hypothyroidism. Why again hypothyroidism? It will lead to weight gain. It will lead to thicker neck. It will lead to fat deposition, your double chin, and facial puffiness. Acromegaly. Why? Because the jawline will be increased. Smoking status. Why smoker? Because it will lead to obstructive airway disease, both upper airway and lower airway. Alcohol and sedative use, especially if it is being abused during the evening or the night time. There are some ethnic population like Asian or Black because even in lower BMI, they are prone to develop OSA. Some emerging risk factors like PCOS, pregnancy, stroke, or neuromuscular disease, opioid abuse, and lower socioeconomic status. So these are the risk factors of OSA. Now we come to management of OSA. Okay. So how you're going to write? Again, this was a 5 marks question. So you'll, for answers, management is, you'll write first line, almost all moderate, severe, and most mild symptomatic cases, PAP therapy. So PAP therapy is the gold standard. Most of the moderate to severe and majority of the mild OSA are being treated with PAP therapy. So gold standard. So first line of therapy is PAP therapy. In PAP we have CPAP. That is the gold standard. Okay. Then we have auto titrating positive airway pressure. Okay, that is called APAP. Then we have bilevel PAP. Okay. Bilevel PAP कब use करते हैं? If CPAP is intolerance or hypoventilation is there, then we use bilevel PAP. Okay. And this is the first. Then second, we have alternative treatment. Alternative or adjunctive treatment. What are the alternative treatment or adjunctive treatment? When patient has refused to use the PAP or PAP positive airway pressure is not being tolerated, then only. So when patient refused to use PAP, positive airway pressure is the gold standard, or PAP is intolerable. ओके सो व्हाट आर द, अब इसमें बात करते हैं हम लोग ए. व्हाट आर द एडजंक्टिव ट्रीटमेंट? फर्स्ट इज ओरल appliances. These can't be used for all. First of all, you should be very clear. Like oral appliances, that is MAD. What it is? Mandibular advancement devices. Okay, MAD. So these will be used only in people where patient have some craniofacial abnormality. So first line, this is first line. सीवियर के लिए तो यूज ही नहीं करते. माइल्ड टू मॉडरेट OSA, it's a good alternative if PAP not tolerated. It is custom made and follow up sleep. So it is obviously custom made based on the individual's mandibular size, and follow up sleep study is mandatory. Okay. Then second alternative treatment is hypoglossal nerve stimulation. Which trial was that? Anybody? Inspire trial. So hypoglossal nerve stimulation. This is FDA approved. First of all, initially it was not, but now it is FDA approved. There was a STAR trial, जो है, that has given a long-term data regarding it. It's a good data. STAR trial has given long-term follow-up data using hypoglossal nerve stimulation. 5 to 10 years का follow-up दिया है उसने, जिसमें it says that it is non-inferior to PAP. Indications. Can it be used in all patients? क्या है indications of hypoglossal nerve stimulation? So BMI should be less than equal to 35. Recently, अभी usually जो trial में patient use हुए थे, that was this BMI. Recently in few countries, they have expanded it to undertake the subjects जिनका BMI 40 तक जा रहा है. और AHI is between 15 to 65 and there is no complete concentric collapse. Okay. And patient has been given PAP but failed or intolerant to PAP. Okay. So hypoglossal nerve stimulation. Then we have third category of alternative treatment, that is positional therapy. I hope you are understanding. मैनेजमेंट में पैप होता है, CPAP होता है, जस्ट CPAP का नहीं लिखना है, आपको बाकी चीजें भी लिखनी है. तो पोजिशनल थेरेपी, इसमें व्हाट वी आर यूजिंग, टेनिस बॉल टेक्निक. इट इज ओनली इफेक्टिव. कब होगा इफेक्टिव? एनीबडी? इफ एक्सक्लूसिवली पोजिशनल ओएस है. अनपोजिशनल में भी कौन सा? सुपाइन ओएस है. सुपाइन ओएस है. सो दैट मीन्स इसका पेशेंट का सुपाइन AHI is either 2 or more than 2 times that of the non-supine. How do we say कि ये supine OS है? तो patient supine position में उसका AHI twice रहता है than in non-supine position. Then in such cases this positional tennis ball बस बांध देते हैं so that patient will never lie down supine और lateral position में होगा. What was the trial? Postural. Okay. The trial name you need not write in the answer. That's why I'm mentioning it with another color. What is the fourth alternative treatment and which is very effective if you are able to do? Weight loss. Now weight loss बस बोलना, हम बोल देते patient को weight loss करो, weight loss कर लोगे, it's very good. So if a patient is able to lose 10% of the body weight loss कर लेता है, then it has been seen 50% of AHI reduction. Okay. Weight loss के लिए we have options like bariatric surgery. It is most efficient in cases of very severe obesity. AHI reduction is bariatric surgery. अगर patient करवा लेता है, it is effective. तो AHI जो है it reduces by 60 to 80%. But problem after bariatric surgery is again weight gain अगर lifestyle modification नहीं किया तो. And another weight loss के लिए आजकल बहुत common use हो रहा है. Tell me. GLP-1 agonists. This was actually made for diabetes, isn't it? But GLP-1 agonists are being very commonly used for weight loss. Example of the drug? Anyone? Semaglutide. liraglutide. And tirzepatide. So there is dramatic, these drugs, they lead to dramatic AHI reduction because weight loss बहुत अच्छा होता है. Off label it is being used, not being FDA approved yet. It is off label use. Okay. And what was the trial name? Just, it was Surmount trial, if I'm not wrong. सरमाउंट ओएस है और ये ज्यादा दिन पुराना नहीं, 24 का ही सरमाउंट. सो ओनली थिंग इज इट वर्क्स की वेट लॉस करा रहा है, वेट लॉस करा रहा है. वेट लॉस के बाद आपका ऑब्वियसली जब वेट लॉस हो गया वो मेजर जो रिस्क फैक्टर है वही चला गया. ओके. व्हाट इज द फिफ्थ ऑल्टरनेटिव ट्रीटमेंट? अपर एयरवे सर्जरी. Again, not applicable for all, है ना, rarely curative. One more thing, इसमें 50% failure rate है in surgeries में in adult patient. Children, it is a very good thing because children में cause क्या होता है? adenoid निकाल दिया, tonsil निकाल दिया. So best candidate for upper airway surgeries कौन से हैं? So best candidate would be children with tonsillar hypertrophy, grade 3 and grade 4. Okay. Grade 3 and grade 3. So they are going for tonsillectomy, adenoidectomy. So you can, if you want, you can mention. Or in children, cure rate is 80 to 90%. Okay. Then there is another surgeries like low Friedman tongue position, if in cases of macroglossia. Then UPP success rate is just 50%. Then we have MMA. MMA is maxillomandibular advancement. This is maxillomandibular advancement. Okay. And one is DICE. So ENT people are doing all these things, isn't it? MMA is most effective surgery in adult. In children, they are going for adenoidectomy, tonsillectomy, then Friedman tongue position, UPPP. Success rate is not one. पहले करते थे, आजकल होता भी नहीं. DICE is the new thing. What is DICE? Full form only you should know. Drug induced sleep endoscopy. So DICE guided multi-level surgery. Okay. This was the fifth. What is the sixth alternative treatment? Myofunctional therapy, obviously oropharyngeal exercises. So ये सब नाम के लिए आपको याद रखना होगा. Myofunctional, एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन पूछा है तो आंसर तो लिखना है. Therapy, or also known as oropharyngeal exercises. Okay. How much it does reduce the AHI? Reduces the AHI by 40 to 50% in mild to moderate cases, not in severe. Okay. Then there are certain 7th point in alternative treatment, it is emerging or in pipeline. What are the alternative treatment? One is tirzepatide use, that is the new drug, what we discussed initially also. Then daytime neuromodulation devices. The trial was Excite OSA here. So daytime में क्या है कि this device will excite your neuromuscular bundle in the upper airway so that it doesn't collapses during the night. And one is the use of eroxybutynin and atomoxetine. It is still in phase 3, so not necessary to mention. So you got to understand, so management is basically CPAP. Rest everything is adjunct therapy, or we say alternative therapy. So in alternative therapy, but when they asked for management, you need to write everything. Okay, app therapy तो लिखोगे ही, साथ में सारा alternative treatment भी लिखना है. Now we come to question number 4. Question number 4 was OHS. Just a second. Question number 4. Short notes on OHS. So what is OHS? How would you write? Also known as Pickwickian syndrome, isn't it? Pickwickian syndrome के नाम से भी short notes आ सकता है. So this is obesity, hypoventilation syndrome. Okay, also known as Pickwickian syndrome. Why Pickwickian syndrome? Because there was a character in Charles Dickens novel, Pick. Now, what is the diagnostic criteria?
Awake hypoventilation in obese patients.
Yeah, very good.
Not explained by other causes.
So it is actually, as the name says, obesity, hypoventilation. So what is hypoventilation there, Raghav, that you need to say? Obesity, though you will say BMI, isn't it?
Hypoventilation is measured by PaCO2. Awake awake PaCO2. More than 45 mmHg.
More than 45 if it is daytime or awake, whatever you say. Awake, for अगर 45 से ज़्यादा है, then it is alveolar hypoventilation. And if you're not able to measure PaCO2, what other thing you can measure? So for obesity,
HCO3.
Bicarbonate
compensation.
Yeah. So for very good. Daytime alveolar hypoventilation, that is measured by PaCO2 more than 45 while awake at sea level. Sea level बोलते हैं लिखने के लिए. Or could be appropriate elevation of serum bicarbonate. So serum bicarbonate is elevated, that is
more than 27
millimole per liter. That means it is daytime alveolar hypoventilation. Okay. And third point is, so obesity you said, hypoventilation said, and third is what?
Unexplained by other reasons.
नहीं, obesity तो है, hypoventilation है, and obviously sleep disordered breathing भी होगी ना साथ में. Then that's the reason we are studying in sleep, isn't it?
Yes.
Disordered breathing. So 3 criteria is there: obesity, daytime hypoventilation, sleep disordered breathing. And when we say sleep disordered breathing, that means predominantly obesity related hypoventilation. Predominantly obesity related hypoventilation that is not explained by due to other causes. Means the patient doesn't have COPD, कोई ऐसा obstructive disease नहीं है जिसकी वजह से इसको. And usually the AHI is, in such cases the patient usually have severe AHI. Usually they have 30, 90% of the cases. OHS is more severe than OSA, ये तो पता ही होगा. And so this is the diagnostic criteria. इस diagnostic criteria के बाद you should also write that must exclude other causes of, तुमने लिख दिया ऊपर कि excluding other causes of hypoventilation. But if time permit, if somebody asks in Viva, then you should write what are the other causes. Must exclude other causes of hypoventilation like severe COPD, severe ILDs, neuromuscular diseases like ALS, myopathy, diaphragmatic palsy, anything, or severe kyphoscoliosis and central hypoventilation. That also you need to rule out. Central hypoventilation कब होगा? Like in cases of chronic opioid abuse. So that is the thing. So this is the diagnostic criteria. After diagnostic criteria, we'll write clinical classification. OHS का short notes we are doing. Clinical classification. So OHS plus severe OSA, in most of the 90% of the patient will be this only. This is treated mainly as severe OSA with hypoventilation. And there could be patient who will have just OHS and not significant OSA. So this patient will be treated with pure sleep hypoventilation. What are the risk factors for OHS? It is similar to OSA. Severe OSA means agar AHI is more than say 30, it could be risk factor. Any restrictive lung physiology, restrictive lung disease due to obesity, like obesity will lead to so it will lead to what? Low FRC, again central obesity, FEV1 by FVC is could be normal or low, but low vital capacity means again restrictive physiology. And Asian population, that higher risk of developing OHF. What is the complications of OHS? And don't write in sentences, for God's sake, save your time. You have to attempt all the answers. So just write complication, pulmonary, नहीं टाइम है, pulmonary पूरा नहीं लिख सकते हो, PHTN भी लिखोगे चलेगा, pulmonary hypertension. Pulmonary hypertension, core pulmonary, or you can say right heart failure. Secondary erythrocytosis. And it increases the mortality. 10-year mortality is 50% if untreated. Okay. Now, last part of the short notes would be management. Management. First line will be PAP therapy again, positive airway pressure. Preferred PAP mode will be again CPAP. If the severe OSA is present and titration shows that CPAP कब कर use कर रहे हैं? As I told you clinically, their OHS has been divided into practically 2 types. as you यहाँ पे इस चीज का आएगा, है ना? OHS है प्लस सीवियर OSA है, मीन्स AHI भी बहुत ज्यादा है, और OHS है बट सिग्निफिकेंट OSA नहीं है, तो इन दोनों में हमारा ट्रीटमेंट प्लान अलग हो जाएगा. जब अगर सीवियर OSA है देन CPAP is preferred. So here if severe OSA is present and when we titration shows that CO2 normalizes with CPAP alone. तो usually in severe OSA group सिर्फ CPAP से हो जाता है. Then this is the plan of action. But अगर नहीं हो रहा है then we go for BiPAP. Okay, bi-level and S mode में. Okay, so if CPAP fails, to correct hypoventilation, और पेशेंट इज इनटॉलरेंट टू CPAP, क्योंकि CPAP का प्रेशर्स मान लो 20 तक जा रहा है तो उतना पेशेंट टॉलरेट नहीं कर पाएगा. यू विल हैव टू गो फॉर BiPAP, और पेशेंट इज थर्ड इज अगेन BiPAP ST mode or AVAPs, वॉल्यूम assured pressure support. AVAPs बोलो या IVAPs. Okay, this one is gold standard. BiPAP ST mode or AVAPs or IVAPs, it is gold standard for OHS. So in practical thing, actually BiPAP ही देते हैं, we don't even give. Only thing is अगर monetary issues आ रहे then we give a trial of CPAP. Otherwise BiPAP is advised. So BiPAP, it ensures actually minute ventilation. This is recommended as first line. As I told you, अगर पैसे का कोई इशू नहीं है, यूजुअली हम पेशेंट को जब देते हैं BiPAP का कॉस्ट और CPAP के कॉस्ट में डिफरेंस आता है, then in that scenario we can think of giving CPAP. Now what is the goal of the therapy? ये भी लिखना जरूरी है. Goal of PAP therapy would be what? To normalize nocturnal, SpCO2, और अगर tidal CO2 लिया है तो n-tidal CO2, और daytime PCO2 has to be less than 45. Okay, that is the goal. Hypoventilation को ये goal maintain करना है. तो first management is PAP therapy. That is the first line. Gold standard is BiPAP. But another therapies like तुम्हारा BiPAP and S mode or CPAP can also be given. Okay. CPAP is usually preferred in cases जिसमें OSA is the major component. Now, second treatment. Second line of treatment is weight loss. Obviously, weight loss is very important. It is critically long-term therapy. Again, अगर 10% of the weight loss होगा, then there is 50 to 80% chance of improving, resolving daytime hypercapnia. Okay. Now, bariatric, as we read there, bariatric surgery. It has the highest cure rate provided patient maintains lifestyle modification. And again, GLP-1 agonist. Example, liraglutide, semaglutide. Okay. Third is, so this was second, weight reduction. Management we are talking about. Third क्या होगा? Oxygen therapy. Okay. Oxygen therapy. What is oxygen therapy कब देना है? Only if there is persistent hypoxemia. Then only it has to be given. That means when PaO2 is less than 55. Okay. After optimal PAP and weight loss therapy, still there is hypoxemia, then we are giving O2 therapy. Okay. Rehabilitation and lifestyle modification. This would include pulmonary rehabilitation, avoidance of alcohol, sedatives, opioids, isn't it? And treatment of comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension, coronary artery disease, heart failure. Now, follow-up. This was management. How would you follow up? Management always include follow-up for chronic diseases. Always remember. So ABG, you will follow up the patient with ABG. ABG में क्या दिखेगा? PaCO2, awake PaCO2 और bicarbonate, isn't it? कितने टाइम पे करना है? 1 to 3 months after starting PAP. Okay. Second follow-up will be repeat sleep study. If clinical suspicion is there that residual hyperventilation is there. Okay. Mortality is more. Well treated अगर रहता है, survival will be similar to BMI matched control. So this is all about your fourth question, that is OHS. Okay. Now there are two questions, Nikshay Mitra, and that I'll be sharing as PDF. Nikshay Mitra and okay, any question? Raghav or anyone?
Ma'am, you told that tennis ball technique was is useful only in supine postural,
Yeah,
ma'am. But then Philips में there is a device, na ma'am, and that postural.
Postural. So whenever see tennis ball technique, whether it will be अगर पेशेंट को सुपाइन OSA तभी होगा. And supine OSA how do we define? कि जब हमने स्लीप स्टडी किया है, सुपाइन पोजीशन में पेशेंट का जितना
ये अच्छा is more than 2 times that of the other position.
Hmm.
So that, ma'am, my doubt is that there is a device in Philips, no, ma'am, for postural OHs.
Hmm.
This rule, does it apply to that device also, or that device can we use it in any positional?
No, 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 no. This is applied postural. That is applied for positional one only. Positional means that only. Positional वैसे कहते हैं उसको postural कहते हैं. तो फिलिप्स में जो है वो that is for that patient only जिनको supine में ही बस issue हो रहा है. Because
Okay.
it is simple कि it won't let the patient lie down in supine
In
position.
supine position.
That is the only goal of that. So even if you are not using that device, that is, they have commercialized Philips people. Even if you are not utilizing that, you can just use a tennis ball or anything and ask the patient to tie it on his back, his or her back. So whenever he will be try to sleep in supine position, he won't be able to, है ना? वो फिर अंत में lateral position आ जाएगा. Try yourself. कभी सो पाओगे एक बॉल पीछे बांध के? नहीं possible.
No, ma'am.
तो दैट इज द ओनली कंसेप्ट कि पेशेंट को सुपाइन में लेटने ही नहीं दो, तो पेशेंट को AHI जो है ऑब्वियसली रिड्यूस्ड है क्योंकि इधर ही ट्वाइस ज्यादा है, उधर तो कम है. बट अब एक और चीज है इसमें, एक ग्रे लाइन ये है ना, व्हाट इज द AHI. अगर लैटरल पोजीशन में भी पेशेंट का AHI से 15 आ रहा है, 20 आ रहा है, देन तो यू हैव टू गिव पैप थेरेपी. ओके, दैट इज द रीजन कि मतलब फॉर एग्जाम्पल देयर इज अ पेशेंट जिसको लैटरल पोजीशन में से इट इज 15 आ रहा है और सुपाइन पोजीशन में से 45 AHI है. तो इट इज फिटिंग कि पोजिशनल है, राइट? बट विल द पोजिशनल थेरेपी बी हेल्पफुल इन दिस पेशेंट? नो. क्यों? क्योंकि पोजिशनल
lateral will also be significant.
That is also significant. So you have to use your clinical there. कि इसमें तो बेस्ट, दैट्स द रीजन दीज आर ऑल ऑल्टरनेटिव ट्रीटमेंट, नॉट गोल्ड स्टैंडर्ड. गोल्ड स्टैंडर्ड इज CPAP, PAP rather. एंड वन मोर थिंग, जैसे ये सारी चीजें जब आप देते हो, जैसे या फिर मैंडिबल एडवांसमेंट डिवाइसेस है या फिर सर्जरीज है, ऑल दीज आर एडजंक्ट बिकॉज दे आर covering only a portion of a patient, a group of the patient, not the entire patient. That you should know. Okay. And one more thing, even when we lie down supine and when we lie down lateral position, तो हमारा जो upper airway anatomy है supine position में it gets flaccid more compared to in lateral position. तो obviously जो obese है या ज्यादा मतलब all these candidates, this group of patient, they'll have more issue in supine position. Okay.
Yes.